witches!
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode
Of
It's Onyx Onyx Storm.
just
Got
blew
my
their
4 drink
eardrums out.
cup. Ready for this. And not gonna lie, I completely forgot what happened.
Girl, yeah, reading some of it, I was like, what? What's happening?
I know, I was reading the prologue and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. But great.
Yeah.
Love to be a part of it. Love the vibes.
Did you happen to read the dedication?
Yes.
Right.
And Rebecca Yarros is not just for the girls.
No.
For those out there who need to find a place that belong.
To the ones who don't run with the popular crowd, the ones who get caught reading under their desks, the ones who feel like they never get invited, included a representative. Get your leathers. We have dragons to ride. Yeah, we do.
Listen. I'm so glad that Will, at the end of book 1, was like, yeah, I'll probably read book 2. Like, not excited to read it, but, like, giving it a go, because it changed, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. Brittany's a little obsessed. Like, I even got her a sweatshirt, like a Bisgayeth War College sweatshirt.
Let me guess. Her favorite is Justinia.
No.
Because she's a scribe, like her wife.
Her favorite character, I think, is Andarna.
Oh. Yeah, I understand. Sassy and sweet in all the right places. Yes. Powerpuff Girl.
Kind of, yeah.
And if anyone who listens to us doesn't know that,
you're too young.
I am very fucking old. I was sitting there the other day and I was in like a group of people where I didn't know anyone's age. And I was talking about something and I was like, do you know what that is? And they just like looked at me and I was like,
it's a valid question. Answer it.
You don't know what that is? And they're like, no, I've never heard of that. And I was like,
I was like, breaking my heart here, kid.
I was like, okay, how old are you? And then they told me their age and I was like, that would be why. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I think I made a comment about like Courage the Cowardly Dog or something like that. And they were like, what is that? And I was like, Cartoon Network.
Oh, what the fuck do you mean?
For your time, gosh. Anyways.
So prologue. There's a prologue of this book. It was really confusing at first.
And that's on us for not rereading, but
girl, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have time.
I don't have enough time to cry when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Right, like we gotta cry and work. Okay, no time to stop.
You're over there like, this is my week, and I'm sitting there like, that's my every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week was a lot more laid back for me. This week is woo.
Nah, that's this week for me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really confused because I completely forgot where we ended. Iron Flame. I knew like they got the wards up. I knew like all the general thing, like the battle was over with. We find out that Xaden is Venom. But that's really about it. Anything else I completely forgot.
Yeah.
And then I started reading it and I was like, okay, I remember him talking to Jack Barlow. So and it took me a second. I was like, oh, is this like we're seeing the same scene that ended the last book from a different perspective?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's clever. That is so clever.
Yeah. So Xaden is in the dungeons talking to Jack Barlow, the fucking cockroach.
He just never dies. They're just there. It just keeps coming back.
Yeah. First of all, in this first couple chapters, she mentions a lot of gods that I don't remember ever hearing of before.
No.
Like, she says thank Amari at one point, or for the love of Amari.
Never
heard.
Always heard Malik and maybe like one or two other ones. But Amari? I don't remember Amari at all.
No. And like, I read a whole other series where Amari was the name of the main character, so I feel like I would have remembered that. But yeah. She's like, I already know what Taryn thinks, so please be on my side, Adarna. And she's like, okay. But like, who gives a fuck what Taryn thinks? Okay. What does Gale think?
Yeah, well, right before she's like asking them to be on her side, and Adarna says like neither of them will answer, so Gale is still incensed, and Taryn smells of both rage and sorrow. And I was like, what does that mean?
Right.
Like, she incensed like in the mood? Like,
no, I think it's like annoyed. Yeah. Or, like, irritated.
When I'm thinking incensed, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. But basically, she's going down to find Xaden, and she is going to protect Xaden at all costs.
No matter what.
And Darna's like, you'll have to keep secrets again. And she's like, yep.
I don't give a fuck. It's for Xaden. I love him.
And then she's like, do you think I should ask, I don't know, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, or Crud? And she's like, nope, tell Ghislaine I need Imogen. And I'm like, Imogen. I love Imogen.
I really do wish I knew how to pronounce Irish names, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sure Crod isn't right either.
It's definitely not right.
Yeah. And I don't even know who those two dragons belong to.
I think one of them is Bodhi.
Oh. And Garrick, probably.
Yeah. Mainly because we know that they
because like at the front there's this like chart that tells us.
I was actually looking at it too. I was like, oh, where is it?
But that just tells us 2nd Squad, Flame Section, 4th Wing. It doesn't tell us anybody else.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah. But I'm guessing you're probably right. That probably is Bodhi and Garrick. But she's like,
incensed means enraged.
Oh, there we go. So more than irritated.
Very angry, enraged.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because that was the top fucking pick. Cool. Now, how do you spell crud?
The prologue.
I knew Indarna was great, and then I like read her little thing, and you're like, no, I'll be with you no matter what. And I'm like, she's a true ride or die.
Yes, she is. And so then chapter 1 is 2 weeks later, and they're going on like a what do they call it?
They're doing a I don't want to call it an inspection, but
like a patrol almost.
Yeah.
To check for
Junior.
Any more venom. And they're arguing in their heads, Violet, Taryn, and Adarna, because And Darna wants to go on the patrol. And she's like, I need the practice. Who knows what weather we'll encounter on the search for my kind. And Taryn is like, then practice evenly dispersing enough magic to keep all your extremities warm during flight, because your wings won't hold the weight of this ice. And Darna goes, your wings won't hold the weight of this ice, and yet yours miraculously carry the burden of your ego. And I'm just like, yes, and Darna.
It's fucking so funny. Her. It's so funny because it's like Taryn's the voice of reason, and then Darna's like the devil on her shoulder.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yeah, and then Taryn is kind of being a dickhead in the first few chapters of this book. So they are flying, and it's like really, they're up in the clouds, right? So
yeah, he's like pissed, and so he's like taking it out on everybody.
Yeah, so Atrum almost flies into them, which is Riddick's dragon. Because Riddick and Atrum are arguing in their heads, so he's blocked out Taryn, so he can't hear him. And he like almost fucking bites him because he's pissed. And has a, I don't know, a superiority complex. Cool. Because she's like, you're almost twice his size, and it was obviously an accident. And he says, it was negligent, and a 22-year-old dragon should know better than to close himself off from his riot simply because he's arguing with his rider.
I mean,
fair, but you don't need to bite him for it. Like, ugh. And then, so Taryn also, Grandpa Taryn keeps calling Xaden the Dark One. And Violet is pissed. She's like, don't fucking call him that.
By the way, Cuir dragon is Coor, like Coor's light.
Coor. What
and then what about it? Let's see. Krau or Craw?
Craw. So the DGH is just
Would you silent. Like me to ask Coor or Craw for you? There you go.
Yeah, I knew Crod was not correct, but that's kind of how it's spelled.
You're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm saying
Crodga.
Listen, when Will was, we were listening to like one of the chapters when he was going through like the audiobook. If I could choke who the fuck ever narrated this book, I would do it 1,000 times over. Because the TikTok that I saw of the actual author pronouncing Indarna's name, Indarna Newarum.
Yeah.
This bitch goes, Indarna Neurum. The fuck? Neurum? Yeah. Indarna Neurum? No.
Yeah. I feel like that's what happens, though, when you have, like, Irish names or these types of names. Because
yeah, I did read that a lot of the people were, like, Irish speakers of that dialect. They all were like, I do wish the author either looked at pronunciation for specific names or like consulted somebody who speaks that type of English, because no.
Yeah, because like Taryn is actually like
Tarnanok.
Yeah.
And it's Tarnanok, and it's like, no, it's not. It's Tarnanok, but okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm probably wrong too, but like it was frustrating to listen to that And of course, it was during like threshing. So I'm just hearing the name back and forth. And I'm like, if I could just choke whoever fucking says that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we are not going to pronounce it like that. No.
I'm pretty sure she corrects it in the second book.
Well, he hasn't started reading the second book, so I really don't know.
Because I remember that as well, and I was like, There was a few things that were pronounced incorrectly in the first book, and then in the second book, they were corrected.
Yeah. He just got home, and I grabbed Scar because she was barking. He just locked her in here. Scar, go meet your dad. Poor baby. She was like, no. Anyways.
Oh, the next thing I said was on page 13. So, Imogen is the friend that Violet needs right now.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Violet has already learned the lesson multiple times to let her friends in and to let her friends help her. And clearly, from what I've read so far, she's going to make that same mistake again. But she does let the marked ones in. So, like, Imogen is going to help her, and like she tries to
I do appreciate her reasoning behind this one though.
Yeah, no, I agree. So she's like, we've decided you need to rethink your sleeping arrangements because Zayden is sleeping in Violet's room, or they're sleeping in the same room. I guess they don't really have rooms here anymore, but anyway. And she's like, I've decided you can all go fuck yourselves. I'm not running from him. Even in the moments he's lost control, he's never hurt me and he never will. And Imogen's just like, that's what I told them you'd say, but don't be surprised if they keep asking. Good to know you're still predictable, even if Ryerson isn't. And then they just move on. Like, they don't continue. She doesn't argue with her about any of it. She just moves on. And I love that for her.
Yeah, because everybody in like the first two books were always arguing with her in her decisions and telling her essentially that she's wrong, and then like trying to convince her multiple times to change it regardless of their opinions. And Imogen is like, okay, I'm not even going to bother fighting with you. I know you're going to continue doing this, and that is on you.
Yeah.
And I also I think I mean, she's kind of stuck with Taryn. I mean, she can decide to Imogen, like, go fuck yourself. I never want to see you again. Taryn, she can't really do that. But, like, she also, I'm glad that Taryn is keeping things real for her. Because, like, okay, he doesn't trust Xaddy. He's lived for thousands of years, and he's probably seen a Venom or two. Prior to like the most recent attacks, he probably has like a better idea on that. Like,
right, but also like he could be mad at Xaddy, but his mate's life is tied to this as well. So like he needs to get the fuck on board with trying to find this cure, because if not, they both could die.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I mean, the same with Sigale. Sigale's very, very, very like, I don't want to say she's more of a rule follower because she's really not, but I feel like she's one of those people that, or one of those types of like personalities that is very, she's autistic. When you believe in something, you truly full-heartedly believe in it.
Right. There's no like, it's everything's black or white. There's no in between.
And she, yeah, and it's like, we should have died. Like, that's fine. We could have done something about it. And he's like, not only saving Violet's life and everybody at Misgaiath, like saving her life and saving Taryn's life. And whether or not people want to believe that Indarna would live to see the next rider, saving her life as well. Like, it's a sacrifice for the greater good, essentially. But So, like, I get Terrence trying to keep her pessimistic, but he also needs to be like, look, we have to go. I get it. But I don't have to like it. So. And just when things got great.
Yeah, and so then they go to visit Sawyer. And I forgot that Sawyer lost a leg. I was just...
Yeah, because he got, during the battle.
I remember him getting hurt, but I guess I don't remember that he lost a leg. But he did. And
something happened.
He's like all depressed about it, and then Rhiannon's like, you're still on the team, hydrate. And he said, water's not gonna grow my leg back. And then he's like, I know that's a shitty thing to say after you lost your mother. And Violet goes, pain isn't a competition. And I literally wrote exactly that down, because I was like,
yeah,
facts. Like, just because somebody else has it worse doesn't mean you don't have it bad.
I hate that so much. Like, growing up, my mom was always like, well, you're my kid. I'm also half of my father. So, like, maybe this is the father half.
Or that whole, there are starving kids in Africa. Yes, that's a fact.
A different type of hurt, bro.
Right, but that doesn't mean that kids
something's
here
wrong
don't
with
have
me
it bad.
Psychologically.
Right, like, ugh. So anyway, I liked that quote. And then, like you were saying, the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, like you think, okay, great, we're going to be able to, like, this is going to be a life-saving adventure for Xaden.
Yeah. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, there's screaming, and all of the people... So there were people in the infirmary, and then there was like a hallway full of other injured people that didn't fit in the infirmary, and they're all dead.
Sucked dry.
Yep. The Venin, she says, we haven't found them out on patrol because they're already inside. So the Venin are already inside this Gaius, which honestly, I feel like they should have thought of that. Like, it's not the first time. Jack Barlow walked right back to the fuck in here. Xaden's here. Like,
they just can't, they're just not as powerful.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was so clever. Like, kudos.
Yeah, they came in as scribes.
Like, what better way to hide all of their, like, body locations of,
right?
Like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Venin, by wearing
because the scribes wear hoods, like they wear,
it's up all the time. Yeah, bro. Whoever thought about that. Here's something too. If they knew that, somebody had to have known a little bit about Biscaya.
Yeah.
And if nobody for like the last 1,000 years did anything, I mean, it's kind of like Hogwarts though. Like, it's been around for like what ages, but
yeah, but they also had Jack for a while, so Jack could have told them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jack. Fuck Jack.
Fucking Jack.
I was thinking like there's somebody else on the inside.
Well,
like somebody we haven't met.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there is though, right? Like, but fucking Jack. And also, like, they know a lot about the lightning wielder and the shadow wielder. Like, so I feel like one of them must have some kind of gift of sight or something. But
maybe
moving back just a tiny bit, the blurb at the beginning of chapter 2, because we're into chapter 2 now. They say they're talking about 6 most powerful. And it's like, we only once have the 6 most powerful walk the continent simultaneously. And I was like, most powerful what? Like signets? And then as we go on, I feel like we figure that out. But also, when was the only other time that they were all there? The beginning with the original 6? So like, but my other question is, what are those signets? So we have the lightning wielder and the shadow wielder. What are the other ones? I want to know.
I was gonna say, I think we can think about what it could be, but apparently in the first 2 books, it was in plain sight about Violet's second signet, and we never figured that out.
Yeah. So I want to fucking finish this book tonight.
I was gonna say, there's got to be something that we haven't thought about with signet wise.
I've thought of so many different ideas, and I feel like I'm gonna find out what it is and be like, oh, fucking duh.
I know, it's probably the most common one. You're like, oh, that's okay.
Right.
I was thinking Melgren, the ability to see a battle before it ends. It's kind of like foresight in a way. There's just a show or something like that on it where you have to outthink the person. It's I don't know, some type of power where you they see what's coming, so you have to think quicker.
Yeah.
Than them. But I was like, okay, well maybe that's one of them because that's something. But then he is kind of a piece of shit. Not person, just in general. He's not a very good person. So maybe that's not it at all. But probably it's probably Mira. Let's be real. It's Mira and then a healer. So it's gonna be
Mira, Brennan.
Yeah, it's gotta be something with those 3.
Could be.
But there's a little blurb a little later about a lightning wielder and a shadow wielder.
Yeah. So then the next thing I have is on page 20. They're fighting right now. They're fighting the Venom. And then Xaden.
Xaddy.
Yes. So they're fighting, and then all of a sudden the shadows come in. Because the Ven is like, the lightning wielder, you're a long way from the sky, and we both know you can't kill me with that knife. And she goes, I won't have to. And then the shadows come.
Xaddy's here.
Yes. Yes.
You would think
and then he goes, tell me something, Violence. Why is it always you?
Because
Xaden.
I'm the main character.
Right. And because I'm a fucking Gryffindor.
It's Professor McGonagall, why is it always you 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just lucky.
Yes.
He says something along the lines of, oh, fuck. Oh, he says, oh, wait. Is that in this episode? Is that in this chapter? Not until chapter 20 or page 22. So never mind. I'll say my comment later.
My next thought is not until page 24.
That's why I meant 24. But 22, I do have a comment on. There's a is okay, so they're talking about the sleeping arrangements. So Bodhi and Garrick are both essentially making comments about sleeping arrangements and where they should sleep and how they should be separately. And Xaden at the bottom goes, I'm pretty fucking sure the only reason he and Bodhi aren't sleeping at the foot of our bed is that they know I would have killed them for it before, let alone now. And I was like, this is kind of payback for what you fucking did to Liam.
Right?
Oh, Liam, you're going to babysit her? All right, cool. Well, this is going to come back at you tenfold later on in life. Here it is. Your cousin and your bestie sleeping at the foot of your bed, babysitting your ass. That's what you fucking get, bro. Anyways, page 24 is the next thought.
24. This is terrifying, but also kind of useful.
Also, it's extremely attractive. What do you mean?
What? No,
I like the bad boys.
There's that fact that he can sense the venom.
Okay. Okay, let me just read the paragraph though.
Yeah, you're before Blair on that, I think.
Okay, so they're talking in each other's minds, and he goes, "I sense them the same way they sensed me," and I was like, "Oh, but shouldn't they have sensed him behind them? Like, there's a venom behind me. Like, oh, I wonder who that is. It's not
Unless
mine."
they just thought it was like they thought it was their.
Like when I think like they can sense each other, I'm like, I've.
Like
Maybe
maybe it's
not.
just a general like they can just feel another venom, but they don't know who it is kind of vibe.
Maybe, yeah. So then he goes, "That's how I know I've changed, how Garrick and I have managed to slay more than a dozen of them this week. I can feel them calling to me, just like I can feel the source pulsing beneath my feet with its incomparable power because I'm one of them." And his eyes never scared yet. And I'm like, no, that's hot.
Oh, I was
Okay.
just having this discussion earlier. In a book boyfriend, I love that. In real life, if someone were to talk to me that way, I would be like,
I know.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Because I know it's not me. I know it's not me.
Listen, I was, been in a depressed mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like laying in bed, and I didn't want to get up and go read. And Will basically like forces me out of bed and tells me to go like record my line. And I was like, fine. And he goes, good girl. And I was like,
don't ever say that again.
oh, now I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I definitely don't want to do it now, bitch. and then but then my face went red, and I was like, yeah, me.
Absolutely
I was like,
not.
oh, I'm fighting with myself, and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I was getting real mad. I was like, I'm gonna kill someone today, but that was kind of hot. That pissed me off. Okay, I'm gonna go do it, but that not because you told me to. Like I was feeling it this weekend. I was back and forth. I was like, I'm gonna fight.
Anyway, that's the end of chapter 24. Or page 24. Chapter 2.
I was gonna say what?
Chapter 2. So chapter 3. The blurb, I was cracking up. So the blurb is recovered unsent correspondence of General Lilith Sorengale. And I'm pretty sure it's a letter. I'm pretty sure. It's a letter from her to the dad, but the dad's already dead at this point. So I think she's just like, it may be writing in her journal or something.
Yeah.
But she's basically like, God's help her, my love. I'm afraid our daughter has atrocious taste in men. And I'm like, her first two liaisons is what she says. And I'm like, Dane and Zayden? Is that who she's talking about? She's talking about Dane and Zayden?
Well, I don't think it's Dane or Xaden. I think
before that.
I honestly think she would have preferred Dane.
Yeah. So you think it's before that, like when she was younger?
Because it's like, and if her first two liaisons are any indication of what we might expect.
Yeah.
I don't think Dane would have been like a bad choice just because of like what a rule follower she is.
That's fair.
He is or was, and like how his father was.
That's fair.
I've seen some theories that this book is going to make us dislike a certain trope style. And I'm honestly real fucking afraid that the true enemies to lovers
Don't say it. You better say cat.
You're right. Cat and Xaden get together.
I meant Cat and Violet.
No. Oh, I've heard. What if Violet goes back to her roots? What if it's Jack Barlow?
What if it's a scribe?
That's no fun. I liked my what the fuck moment. What if it's Jack Barlow?
Absolutely fucking not. Maybe it's Cam.
Maybe.
I don't like that either, but anyway,
I don't like it because
3.
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Other than he just doesn't want to rule the world.
Right. So Violet goes to this, like, hearing or something, to find out, or basically to make some demands about this
And yeah, and
trip
Darna's
that
got
she's taking
demands
to find Darna's kind. And they're, like, trying to boss her around about it.
Oh yeah, they're not happy about it.
Yeah, and so they're like, we're not... She's like, these are the demands that she has. Darna wants to determine the members of the squad. And Malgren's like, then it's one that won't be met. It's a non-negotiable military operation, not a class field trip. And Taryn's like, we won't go. And then Darna's like, we're going. It's like a whole thing. And she's like, they're like, shall we consider the matter settled? And Malgren says, it is. And Violet's like, only if you meet the rest of Darna's demands. And then she's like, I think both she and Taryn have shown that they're more than willing to walk, if not fly, away from Bisgayeth.
Honestly, though.
Yeah. But I just think it's cute that they still think that they can, like, tell Violet what to do. Like, when does she ever fucking listen to you?
Honestly. And the fact that she's got two of the most, like, stubborn-ass fucking dragons.
Right.
And
one of those being the first of her kind in, like, centuries. And the other being the most powerful dragon right now. Like,
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if Taryn is bullheaded or not. If he doesn't want to do it, that bitch ain't going to do it.
Right. Did you not learn your lesson with what the fuck his face was in the last book, where he kept trying to make Violet do things and Taryn about killed his fucking dragon? Did you guys not learn your lesson then? What was his fucking name? The guy that, like, tortured her and shit.
Panchik? No.
No.
Fuck.
Right?
Got beady little eyes.
Yeah. The dickhead one. Anyway.
Iron Flame Torturer.
He's fucking dead now, and so is his dragon. So...
Commandant Varish.
Varish. Yes.
Varish.
After Varish and his fucking dragon, you still think y'all can boss them around? Like, really? And they fucking left your college and went and, like, to Orisha and started a whole new riot, and now you think you get to boss them around?
Yeah.
They'll fucking leave again.
Okay.
They took half your fucking college with them the first time.
They'll take them back.
Right. Try. Okay?
And your prisoner that you still, full-heartedly believe you should be keeping in your prison cells fucking broke the wards in the first place that allowed them to come in, and Violet figured out how to fucking do it.
Right. Fixed your fucking wards.
Told her mom what to do, how to do it, and then she gave her life for you.
Yeah. So please,
if I were you,
please try to boss me around some more, please.
Yeah. Okay. I see where I stay in your hierarchy here.
Yeah.
I'll just go see the world again. That's fine.
Yeah.
Bitch.
And then, the rest of this chapter is kind of sad.
They're talking about a bargain. Do you remember what that bargain is?
Yes. So I forgot, but then I remembered later. It's the bargain with Takaris that the flyers will be trained with the riders.
I have no idea. I remembered that, but I didn't think that was the bargain. I thought there was something different.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, what was the bargain? But no, as we keep reading, I think it was in chapter 7 that I was like, oh, that bargain.
I thought that was like the goal in general. I didn't think that was the bargain. So I think that's why I was confused. Okay. Well,
they had to give them weapons and take the flyers with them to be trained with the riders.
Yeah, I for some reason thought it had something to do with book. I really don't even remember, to be honest. We've not necessarily read so many books, but there's been so many different things happening between like the books that we've been reading and like the acting I've been doing. Like the stories are melding together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ugh.
I have to be really careful what other book I'm reading at the same time. Like when we were reading the Piper CJ books, I couldn't read Throne of Glass. Like I had to pause on Throne of Glass. I have 3 books left and I had to stop because I kept like twisting the stories together. So
that's
I'll
the
have
thing.
to watch while I'm reading this too.
Yeah, the problem is I only like reading fiction fantasy.
Right, but like I think I could read Throne of Glass while reading this because it's a very different world.
Mm-hmm.
But Throne of Glass compared to The Night and Its Moon was a very similar world. Like part fae, full fae, like.
And there's no fae in this one. It's just dragons.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I could probably read like the Disney spin-off series. I could probably read those.
Yeah. It just has to be a different type of fantasy.
True, yeah. But let's be real. I ain't doing that, so.
Yeah, but you play video games. I read. And I read. And I read. Other people watch TV. I read.
And I play video games.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, I need to relax. And Will's like, all right, what do you want to do? Do you want to play a video game? And he's like, no. Oh, well, that's what I want to do, to relax. So I'm going to go do that.
That's why a lot of weeknights, like, Brittany and I will be sitting about 10 feet apart, but we're in different rooms doing different things. Like, she's in there watching TV. I'm in here reading my book because I can't relax watching TV because TV does not take my attention enough.
It doesn't tickle my brain enough.
Yeah, so my brain is like running in the background, like, and stressing myself out. Speaking of stressing myself out, my new recurring nightmare is great fun. My new recurring nightmare is that Brittany has broken up with me and is leaving me, and I'm trying to scramble to find how I'm going to survive and live without her because we all know I couldn't be financially stable on my own because I don't make enough money. I could, but I'd have to drastically change my lifestyle. And in the dreams, she always also won't answer the phone. Like, she won't even speak to me. And it's always, like, the worst. And then I wake up and I'm like, like, reaching for her. And she's like,
We have very, very different dreams.
Yeah. My subconscious is always like, look, this could actually happen. My dreams are always, like, my nightmares are always, like, things that could actually happen. They're never, like, crazy shit.
No. There's, like, a mix of that.
Yeah.
Of, like, if you analyze it enough, you're just like, she's afraid of that. But mine are, like, on shrooms.
Mine are not.
This dream, I remember vividly years later. Like, I was a child having this dream. I, as a child, hated going to, like, Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards for the Midwestern Americans. Hated that. Hated home improvement. I was a child. I didn't really give a fuck. Now I don't really care. I kind of like going now. But I had a dream that we went to, like, a home improvement store, but it was in a mountain. Okay? I know. So in a mountain. I'm at the checkout line with my parents, right? And I like look across this pit, cavern, like abysmal pit. And across the way, on a ledge, are pumpkins.
Oh.
Jack-o'-lanterns, if you will. Oh. And they were mocking me. And I was trying to yell at them. And of course, in your dream, you can't yell. You can't yell. You can't run.
Mm-mm.
And
can't scream.
Like, yeah, no. And I'm trying to yell at it, like scream at them, essentially tell them off. And I turn around and I look at my parents and they're just like, eh. I'm gonna check out. And I'm sitting there and these like jack-o'-lanterns are like sticking their tongue out at me. And I was like, trying to yell. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
That's the kind of fucking bullshit I have.
No, mine are always shit that could totally be real. Always. It's not usually weird stuff. It's almost always
the meaning behind it is totally real.
Right.
What the fuck happens? It's not real.
My subconscious is not that creative. It's like, ooh, let's have this happen. And then it's like the same exact dream every time.
Like, I'll wake up and I'll be like, can I tell you my dream? And Will's like, oh God. I'm like, but really though, I gotta tell you this fucking weird dream. So yeah. I think something's wrong with me a little bit more than psychologically.
You know?
With the way I've been dreaming.
Well, we'll just have to request the same wellness farm.
No. I think we're on 2 different levels.
I don't know. I'm medicated. Very medicated.
Same.
So,
same.
Yeah. I've also, anyway, that's a whole other episode. Chapter 4.
I'm going to blame the books we read and the games I play.
I blame my family.
No.
Genetics, like nature and nurture, both. Together.
Biology.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of chapter 3, they like start to get freaky.
Listen, I was like, this bitch, what the fuck is he doing? I thought we couldn't do this.
Yeah, but they both like lose control and forget that they're not supposed to be fucking because he doesn't want to lose control. And he does he does lose control for just a second, and there's 2 faint marks of discoloration on the headboard. And so at the beginning of chapter 4, Violet's like, it's nothing, it's barely there. Okay, but if it was you, like, you can't write that off as nothing. Yeah. Like,
now their sleeping arrangements are going to change. Now he'll be like, all right, you're right, though. Let's not do this.
I don't know. I think that he's not, like, because he says all the time, he's like, I'm selfish. So I don't think he's going to deprive himself of her. But I think that they're not going to have sex for a hot minute.
This entire book.
As long as she's not fucking anybody else, because I literally can't. There's supposed to be like 2 more books after this, right? I can't have Dane be the love interest.
Oh, yeah, you're right, though.
I can't. I cannot. Nah. I may be able to get behind somebody else, but not Dane. I don't want to. I like Xaden, but I can't not Dane.
Honestly, I think the only other person would be Riddick, and that's just because he's funny.
Ugh, I don't like that
either.
That's it. Right.
Just because he's funny.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Anyway.
Thus far, at least.
And then they're going on and on and on, right? And they're like arguing about shit that they can't control, basically. Like talking about the negotiations and speaking for Arisha, and he's like, the assembly owns or runs Arisha. I just own the house, which is probably a good thing since I'm well vetted. Okay, Xaden, like, we get it, and I get the concern, but also, like, you've been able to hide the fact that you're an intrinsic for years. That takes a special kind of self-control. And so I feel like you're probably going to be okay. But we'll see.
I honestly think the only reason why he was able to survive with that second signet that far is because he didn't have it prior to the execution.
Yeah.
He only got it after he got his dragon. So, to be honest, I think witnessing your father fucking be murdered and everything behind it.
Yeah.
And everything else, I have every fiber of my being thinking he learned at a young age to grow up. But to be quite honest, the pessimism from Taryn and Xaden, essentially this entire chapter, honestly, if we're gonna be real, the pessimism stops the hurt from later on. So, like, you're just preparing yourself, like, hashtag stay broken.
That's too relatable right now.
Like, you don't have high hopes? Bro, you don't have to worry about it because you're already down at rock bottom. You don't have to worry about getting up high and falling off that pedestal of yours. Like, I'm telling you.
So this is all worst. While they're like getting dressed in the morning, like after sleeping. And then Zayden stops like mid-sentence and is like, are you fucking kidding me? Neither of us has even used a bathing chamber yet. And then
oh, because he opened the door and he saw like everybody standing outside their bedroom door.
Yeah, and she's like, who is it? And Brennan answers. And then she's like, good morning, Brennan. And Zayden's like, I have a patrol. And Garrick's like, he does. And she's like, how many people are out there? And it's Brennan, Garrick, Llewellyn, Bodhi, and Imogen. And she's like, did someone die? Why didn't any of you knock? And Garrick said, because she's mean. And it's Imogen. And I'm like, fucking yes. I love that Imogen is like her guard dog.
Yeah. I also really hope that Imogen and Garrick like get together because they're perfect.
I mean,
come on.
But I don't know.
She also likes him, so like give it to her, damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. Imogen just gives me really strong gay vibes.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't want that.
That's fine. Maybe that's the point. Maybe she gives a more masculine type and Garrick is a little masculine but likes to be a little, fluffy from time to time.
Maybe. I don't know.
Men have feelings too, okay? Ladies, buy your men some flowers. And if they throw them away, then you throw him away because that's fucking rude.
That's valid. Because the fuck?
Bitch, you got free flowers. Fuck you. Are you allergic? No? Alright. Suck your own dick then.
Ew.
Enjoy the flowers.
Oh my god. Anyway. I keep getting, like, sidetracked.
Yeah, stop it.
But Brennan and Mira are arguing about...
Are they? They're always arguing.
They are. But right now they're arguing about Violet. and whether or not she is going to go on this this like quest
adventure.
to find
I think it really frustrates me with Mira. I like Mira more than Brennan, to be quite frank. But what really frustrates me is the fact that everything that Violet has done without pretty much any support whatsoever from family, from friends, like, I mean, okay, she probably would have had more support if she, like, opened up a little bit more, but, like,
yeah,
valid. I understand her concerns.
for
But
sure.
this whole bullshit that she's pulling, it's like Mira trying to convince her mom to not let Violet go into the Rider's Quadrant, and it's really frustrates me. Yeah, and it because it's like, I get it, you want to be protective, but like this is also her dragon, and this is important to her regardless of like the outcome of everything. Like this is important to find this other kind.
And also Violet's standing right there. Why don't we ask her what she wants?
And she's not a fucking baby. Lightning wielder.
Yes, she's a cadet, but she's not a baby. She led a fucking revolution like 2 weeks ago.
So that bullshit pissed me off too. Like, quiet, cadet. The officers are talking. Okay, first of all, Brennan's not a cadet or an officer or anything like that anymore. He's a fake person in another country. Fuck you.
Yeah, the whole thing pissed me off. Like, Violet's right here. Let's talk to Violet about it.
Also, why is Brennan still going after his fake name? Like, why is he still going by it? Asheray or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think you knew. I was just, you know.
Yeah, it's weird, though. Because everybody obviously knows who he is, like...
Oh, hey, Brennan, I'm Asheray. No, that's Brennan.
Right, like, the fuck? Okay. But... then Mira shows them something else.
Yeah, I was really kind of confused by this. I just need it probably spoken from someone else.
They're gonna change the wards. Mira found a way to change the material that what's it called? It's not a sigil. What's a rune? That a rune is in to change the rune, basically.
Without destroying it.
Without like destroying it. And
so like that way the flyers
could wield.
Won't be powerless, and they can train with their piece.
Yes. So they're gonna change the wards so the flyers can channel. And that's the end of chapter 4. This is gonna be a long ass episode.
Sorry.
Chapter 5. So there's like a fucking riot where the riders are like bullying the flyers, for lack of a better term.
Racism.
Yeah, and I just imagine, like, if Kat had her fucking powers right now, how much worse she could make things. Or how much better, honestly, because if she can influence your emotions to make them more angry than
passive.
Yeah,
I honestly think it'd be better if she would make it more passive towards the flyers.
Right.
And more aggressive towards each other.
Right. But she can't wield right now, thankfully. But this bitch, her name's Aura.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a fucking bitch.
Huntosaurus.
She's giving Amber Mavis. Dane comes up with his rules. He's like, Article 4, Section 4, a wing leader has the authority and duty to maintain And she's like, Article 2, Section 1, bitch, riders outside quadrant chain of command can't interfere with cadet matters. And she's not wrong, but she's being a bitch.
I know that Dane is supposed to be attractive.
He's not, though. Not in my head.
And, like...
in my head, he's a fucking Dexter-looking motherfucker.
I was gonna say, the way you made him sound was, like, so Dexter-like. Like, finger up in the air. Actually, it's this. And I'm sitting there like...
That's why I said it like that, because that's what I fucking imagined. Dexter-ass motherfucker.
It's so funny. Because he's supposed to be, like, a less chiseled, like a Liam Hemsworth sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you just made him have, like, a snaggletooth with broken glasses.
Yeah, I can't. Because that's his personality is that.
I know. It's like, okay, well, first off, you literally deserted.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, like, quote anything, like, get the fuck out. Yeah, and if you're gonna quote anything, you better make sure that it's not gonna come back and bite you in the ass. Like, if you're gonna say it, you better fucking be able to own that shit.
Yeah, and so this bitch, she's like, she's gonna challenge the strongest one of them or whatever, and they keep saying that that's Dane.
What the fuck do you mean it's Dane? Physically, maybe.
And Darna's like, Dane isn't the strongest. And then Violet's like, Dane can take her in hand to hand. And then...
but I'm a fucking lightning wielder.
Yeah. She's like, Dane's like, I'm not fighting you, Aura. And she's like, I'm fighting you. Or have you really turned coward? Just another rebel who needs to be marked as such. And Anna goes, Dane isn't the strongest. And she's like, huh.
It's moi.
Yeah. Then she's like, Rebel is so... because, okay, Aura tries to wield because she's a flame wielder.
Yeah, and Dane's sitting there like, I'm not gonna fight you.
Yeah. And so Violet throws a dagger at her because of course she fucking does. And she goes, Rebel is so outdated. We prefer the term revolutionary. And if you're gonna wield, then it's me you'll be dealing with. And I was like, fuck yes, girl. Okay. Like,
but also, like, when I read that line, I was like, oh, yeah. But the way you just read it made me fucking cringe. When I read it, I was like, girl power. Girl.
Listen.
We need to get you. You made her like a snot-nosed brat.
Okay, but that's how I see her. So maybe it's just me.
The line is great, but like the way it happened made me feel like, ugh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like if I was standing there, like not a person on the other side, I probably would have like, what the fuck? I'd be like Deborah, like, all right, shut the fuck up. What the hell is happening here? Like,
yeah.
All right. And
that's speaking how you of that, know speaking of I've Deborah, grown up. Chapter 6, the beginning of chapter 6, Aura's like, you dare.
Can I talk about Kat real quick?
Sure.
During this whole thing, she makes a comment that I don't feel like I don't know. Something about it just really rubs me the wrong way. She made a comment about she goes, I will fight, and someone goes, you can't, Kat, you can't, you fall. And she goes, you'd be so sad to lose your rival, wouldn't you? Are you just more intimidated by the thought that I could win once again and prove why I'm the better match? And I'm like,
we're still doing that?
Still? First of all, that this is the last thing you should be thinking about. Like, one-upping Violet. Like, they're literally having some racism against you. And you're over here like, I deserve Xaden because I am the stronger match.
Like, bitch, are we still on that for real? We're still on that? Okay.
My favorite is she's like, oh, shut up. So, Kat is still being a bitch.
Yeah. And then in chapter 6, no, you're good. They're like arguing back and forth, and Violet's starting to get ready to wield. And
then Aura's like, maybe not.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, is this what you do when we give you a break from classes?
Thank God.
Deborah shows up. And then she is like, basically, Violet's right. Vacation's over. Your professor's returning in the next 24 hours. Yeah. And she's like, y'all should be here. Y'all should be a battle brief in the morning, like, including the flyers. Then she says, you're released from whatever it was you thought you were doing here. And I'm like, yes, I love her.
Like, his want to be Violet, I want to be Deborah.
Yeah. You know, because she's still like a fighter, and like I'm not. I mean, I'm like maybe a fighter, but like not like hand-to-hand combat, like working out kind of fighter. That's not my vibe. I would rather be the strategist, like in the background.
I don't mind working out. I just don't ever have the energy to work out. So
I guess don't mind working out like by myself in the privacy of home. But going to the gym, not something that I could fucking do. Like, I literally can't work out in a gym. Because my brain convinces me that everyone's staring at me and judging me. Because that's what my parents did when I was growing up. So, can't do it. Can't do it. But anyway, continuing on from that, my next
at the end of chapter 6
isn't until 57.
Go ahead, because I have a lot to say about at the end of it.
Mine's just about, I just made a comment about their fucking egos. Like, they're arguing about politics, basically, and they're like, they're refusing to allow them to update the words so the flyers can wield, and so the alliance is over. Like, it's done. And I'm just like, ugh, you guys get on my nerves.
Politics. It's just politics. The end of the chapter, though, really, really kind of threw me off. Because they're like, oh, he's the, like, after all of it was said and done, Xaden is now the Duke of Tyrrendor.
Yeah.
That's too easy. You just gave it to him?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that they're trying to find a way to, like, control him and manipulate him.
I think two things. I think they think he is Venom. Or, like, suspect it.
Yeah.
And this is a way to control him.
Yeah.
Or to
keep him close, at least.
Yeah. But also, if they don't suspect that he is Venom, like, what if they're trying, like, what if they do this in an attempt to, like, thwart him and, like, set him up for failure, basically.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but if he's the Duke of Tyrrendor, then Orisha isn't its own country or its own capital. It's part of
Tyrrendor.
Well, like, Tyrrendor is not its own country. It's part of...
It's a province of Navarre.
Yeah, it's part of Navarre. And, like, when you look at the map, Tyrrendor's huge.
Yeah.
So, like, Tyrrendor is bigger than Peromiel. Peromiel?
Peromiel.
Yeah, Peromiel. So, like, they could easily be their own...
Yeah, and they got the fucking queen of Peromiel. Oh, fuck no.
Right. So, like,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's too easy.
Yeah.
They just gave it after his father
did everything. Yeah, like,
yeah.
Are you sure?
It's too easy, especially after like the whole thing that's happening.
Yeah,
like a rebellion going. No, absolutely not.
Agreed. But
didn't read that far.
So the chapter ends by Violet saying, "I need to find a cure, and that means saving the Alliance tonight, even if it means I'll be a traitor by morning." So basically, she's gonna go change the wards without their permission. Even they said no, and she's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna do it anyway."
My favorite thing about all of this is that, like, she's trying to keep it a secret, and it's like, okay, you are so fucking predictable, ma'am.
Right.
They tell you no, well, you're gonna find a different way to do it. Okay. So everyone's gonna find out. Like, everyone's gonna know exactly who the fuck you did. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, everyone's gonna fucking know that it was you.
Right, obviously. And your sister told them about this idea, and they said no. So they know you know about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Because, like, during this, she's, like, going in the dead of the night, and she's picking only a certain few people to, you know, do this and figure it out. And she, like, goes and grabs Sawyer, and then...
Which, I have something to say about that. So Sawyer is, like, super, like, bitch, I can't help. Like, I am not a full writer. I can't help you.
You just don't have a leg, sir. Like, we'll get you a prosthetic. You'll be fine.
Right. And so they're like, if we don't do this tonight, the negotiations are done. Flyers are escorted to Arisha tomorrow. And Sawyer's like, they're going to tear our squad apart. And Riddick's like, not if you do something about it. Now, I love you like a brother, and I get that you lost your leg, and we respect however you're feeling about that, but you're still one of us. You're still a writer with all the benefits and shit that come with wearing black. So with all the love in my heart, put your fucking uniform on, because we need you. And I love that they don't coddle him. They're like, bitch,
you're fine.
Let's go.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not saying losing a limb is, like, worse than the other, but, like, bro, you could have lost your hand.
Well, like, and
it's hard to do that.
He's literally a metallurgist. Metallurgist. So make a leg.
Metallurgist. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you're a metallurgist. You can literally move your foot.
Right. Like, you can make yourself a leg and move it with your signet. Like,
yeah. Like, bro, get the fuck up. You're fine.
Yeah. So, anyway, they don't coddle him, and I fucking love that. I literally, like, marked that whole little paragraph in the book because I was like, I want to remember this.
Right. Well, and here's the thing, too. She's like, oh, yeah, we're getting this. Like, this is perfect. This is good.
And then speaking of her being predictable.
Yeah.
Imogen's like, we have a problem.
I don't think you want me to knock out this cadet. Or, like, this
guard.
This guard. And then here comes Mira, and it's like...
Yeah, Mira took over the guard duty because she fucking knew.
Yeah, she's like, you know, I thought I was just being, you know, worried for too much. But I'm glad I didn't. Like, I knew something was going on. And then I was like...
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
So she ends up going into the Wardstone area to help. And lo and behold, opens up the fucking location. There's fucking Brennan standing there. And they're all like, affair. Oh. Okay. And then it's so funny because, like, they're all just like, oh, of course you're going to be just like that. Or you're going to, and it's like, no. This is a family affair. Like, you're all more, like, alike, whether you want to believe it or not. Like, you want to sit here and say that you're not like your siblings. Bitch, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're all doing the same thing. You're all the same.
Yeah.
Like, whether you want to believe it or not, same person. Thank you.
Yeah. And then, so they're in the, like, chamber where the ward stone is, and Violet kind of starts having, like, memory flashes. And, like, Grief is a fucking bitch. So she's, like, remembering her mom saying, I'll get to see him soon, live well, like, about her dad, and she's kind of, like, having that survivor's guilt. And grief has been, like, a big thing in my life lately. I know this is not the first time I've said this in the last couple weeks on this podcast, but, like, it's affecting me still. And grief's a bitch, man.
Yeah, it really is.
All the time. It's a bitch.
It's really sad too, because it's like her demeanor doesn't change much, but like Bree notices what's going on with her and like recognizes everything, and she's like, "Are you okay? Like, is everything okay?" And it's like, bro, sometimes being strong for too long really just hurts more than the emotion that you're actively feeling, and then that's like, sometimes you just need that person there to be all, "Are you okay?" Yeah. No, I'm fucking not. But thank you for asking. Like,
and you kind of need that person too that's going to be like, no, you're not. Like, it's okay, like, you not need to be okay.
That's how you heal.
Yes.
And they succeeded.
They succeed.
And everyone is like, all right, here we go. Cool. Everyone can do all these things. Great. Well, looks like the Flyers are here and they're going to Battle Grief and they're getting, settled and ready for preparations for war. And it's so funny because they call it like a war college because it's supposed to prepare you for war, but like they never ever once like prepared you for anything war, like typical, high school,
I was
college,
gonna say,
all of that.
That's education for you. Like,
yeah. And it's funny because Deborah's like, all right, well, there's not gonna be any fucking war games or like squad games or anything like that nowadays. We're preparing you for a war. And I was like, yes, Deborah.
Yes.
Let them have it. But at the end of the chapter, fucking Colonel Ados.
Like, why is his bitch ass still here? Why is he still alive? Can somebody eat him?
I was like, Dane, why are you yelling at Violet? And I was like, oh, it's fucking Dad.
Yeah.
I thought like Dad got banished or something. Like, oh
bitch,
no,
why are you still here?
He got sent off. Yeah. And then he goes, you are hereby charged with high treason against the Kingdom of Navarre. And I'm sitting here like, with what?
Right. Where's your proof? So, what's the...
I think it has everything to do with the Wardstone, because obviously the Flyers... Yeah, if the Flyers are magically able to, like, wield their magics.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah. And that's where the chapter ends. That's where the episode ends.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Dragon Riders.
Yes. I can't wait to keep reading.
Yeah, but that won't happen until next time.
Bye.